Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. Today we're going to learn how to crochet a marigold flower and I'll use this to make a garland. This is a very easy pattern and anyone with basic knowledge of crochet can make it. Before starting the project, let's have a look at the things that will be required. For the petals, I'll be using this yarn from the brand Caron. It is called as Spice Cake. For the leaves, I'll be actually combining two yarn. The first one is from the brand Aunty Lidiya and the second one is from the brand Loops and Threads. So you can use a single green yarn, but since I did not have of the required thickness, so I'm combining two. I'll be also using a crochet hook of size 1.90 mm, a pair of scissors to cut the yarn, and a needle. So I'll start by joining my two yarns. In your case, if you're having a single green yarn, the process would be much easier. Make a magic ring and then we are going to make a chain of 3. This chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. Make 7 double crochets into the ring. So along with the chain of 3, there should be 8 double crochets in the magic ring. Pull the tail yarn and then close the ring. Now slip stitch to the third chain of our very first stitch. You should end up with a shape like this. For the next round, we are going to start by making a chain of 3. This is our considered as our first double crochet. Now into the next stitch, we will make 1 double crochet. Make another double crochet in the next stitch. So in this round we will be making 1 double crochet in each of the stitches. So at the end of this round we should have a total of 8 double crochet. This includes the chain of 3 as well. At the end of the round, similar to the previous round, we're going to find the third chain of our very first stitch and make a slip stitch. So here our bottom part is done. We are going to start making the petals. Before that, let's stitch in or crochet in our tail yarn. So instead of using a crochet hook, you can very well use a needle and stitch it inside the existing stitch. Here I'm using a crochet hook and I'm pulling it inside across different stitches. There is no right or wrong way of doing this. We just need to hide the tail yarn. So once you have stitched it in a few times, we can trim it off. So we are left with only the bottom part now. Now we are going to change our yarn to the yellow yarn, and we're going to pull the green yarn tightly so that it's not loose and our yellow yarn does not come off. And after that, the tail of the yellow yarn and the green yarn, we are going to hold it in this manner, and then we start off with a chain of 3. After that, into the next stitch, we are going to make a double crochet. So while making the double crochet, just make sure that you are holding the tail yellow yarn and the green yarn behind it so that we can crochet over it. So this is our first petal. So we make a chain of 3 and then slip stitch it into the same stitch. So this is our very first petal. Into the same stitch, we will make one more petal. So the pattern for a petal is chain of 3, a double crochet into the very same stitch, and a chain of 3 and slip stitch into the same stitch. So we are going to make 2 petals in each of the stitches. So since we have a total of 8 stitches, we should be having a total of 16 petals at the end of this round. Once we have made the 2 petals, we will move to the next stitch by making a slip stitch into the next stitch. So after making the slip stitch into the next stitch, we are going to make a chain of 3. So this is our first petal for the second stitch. Make a double crochet and then a chain of 3 and slip stitch it into the same stitch. Now let's make the second petal for this second stitch. We'll make it in a similar manner. We'll make a chain of 3, a double crochet into the same stitch, and end with a chain of 3. Then we slip stitch it into the same stitch. Now that we have stitched over the tail yarn quite a bit, we can now trim it off. We are going to continue the same pattern for the entire round. So I have made 2 petals in each of the stitches. If you want a bulkier flower, you can even have 3 petals in each of the stitches. So you can change the design according to how you want the flower to look at the end. Continue this pattern for the rest of the round. Here we are at the end of our round and we are making the last petal. Make a chain of 3 and then slip stitch it into the same stitch. After that, slip stitch it into the next stitch, or you can also say the very first stitch of the round. So we are going to slip stitch it to the first stitch just to secure it a bit better, and make another slip stitch from behind also. Pull the yarn tightly and then you can trim it off. Now this tail yarn that we have, we need to either stitch it in or crochet it in. If you want to stitch it in, you should leave a long tail and then stitch it in. I'm just going to crochet it into the existing stitches. Make sure that you crochet it into only the yellow yarn part of the flower. Our flower here is ready. You can use it as it is for decorating your puja rooms. I'm going to string it into a needle and thread and turn it into a garland. You make number of flowers and make this marigold garlands to hang over your door or over your puja room. You can even use it for decorating your hair and use it as a hair accessory. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do leave a feedback in the comment saying how you found this video, and also any suggestions on what tutorial you would like to watch next. Do check out my channel for more such fun videos, and don't forget to subscribe. and click on the bell icon for notifications, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.